I just want everybody to know that I am innocent. I am innocent.
Case is dismissed.
No, ma'am.
We are done.
No, I won't go. No.
The case is over.
I'm not going.
I've been homeless. I've been in and out of jail in Battle Creek.
In essence, treating me like a black man.
Next up, we have a man named Mark Char. He was in court for multiple charges of attempted murder and third-degree assault. Feeling mistreated during his trial, he decided to take action.
This is a prime example of the habitual corruption and conspiracy within the Keith Conashero and Catherine K. Aloha's prosecutor's office and Judge Todd W. Eden's Kangaroo Court. I was not given a fair trial as stated in a motion for judgment of acquittal and or new trial. File stamped on March 11, 2019. Furthermore, I was given this incompetent court-appointed attorney, Keith Shigitomi, who prepared my defense with me only 19 days before my trial. 19 days he worked on my case. Now this kangaroo court is giving me a life sentence for me trying to protect and defend myself against the attack from 3 guys. In essence, treating me like a black man. And today, the reason why I'm like this is because I prepared myself to play my part in your kangaroo court, treating me like a black man, so today I'm going to be a man.
Do you want to say anything further, Mr. Char?
That's about it, I guess, for now. Oh, also, I asked this kangaroo court to put a stay on my sentencing pending my appeals, and who's going to do my...
Not only did his attorney resign from the case after his stunt, but the judge also had this to say to him.
This was a case that you incited, that you provoked, that you almost an innocent motorist.
No, it didn't happen that way.
You cut off, the evidence showed, Mr.
There was
Char,
no evidence on my part.
Mr.
My lawyer
Char,
failed to put in my video. He put no evidence on my behalf. None of my
Char,
evidence
the
was.
evidence showed.
None of my evidence was submitted.
Mr. Char, listen up.
Judge Todd Eden sentenced Char to life with the possibility of parole, 5 years for the second count and 1 year for the third, all to run concurrently. There are still issues of restitution, which he will be ordered to pay, but he'll have to have yet another attorney to help with those issues.
Next, we have a girl named Tia. She was dating a guy who took her words literally, even when she dramatically said she wanted to kill her parents. Here's what Tia had to say at the sentencing.
Most importantly, I never wanted my parents. Death is so final. I wanted my parents to be able to live their lives. I fought with my parents as most teenagers would. I said something to a guy. He took what I said literally and carried out the act. I wish I could go back to before I got involved with this guy. I wish I would have listened to what my parents said about him. Most importantly, I wish I could have my family back. Unfortunately, none of those wishes will ever come true, but I know that my family is closer and stronger since all of this.
Tia, you completely puzzled me. I thought I knew you. I thought we shared the same feelings, values, loves, and life. But I guess I never really knew you at all. And that's heartbreaking. I, along with my family and friends, will forever bear a heart-crushing loss. But because Paul was who he was, we will be okay. We will continue to love life, share joy, and look forward to the day when we'll be together.
Next, Karen thought it was a good idea to drive drunk. Here's how her first court appearance went after nearly taking someone else's life.
The woman who crashed into her sits in jail. Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon spoke with one of the trooper's colleagues.
There was no time to think. You have to act. And without question, she was the last line of defense. There's no telling what would have happened had that vehicle actually reached all of those runners. The bottom line is these troopers saved dozens upon dozens of lives.
Well, considering I don't have a car.
This trooper, to risk her life to make sure that others would be okay, is the epitome of what served.
Next, we have Pamela Phillips, who was in court for the murder of her husband. Her court appearance was quite interesting, as her entire family disagreed with her claim of innocence.
I just want everybody to know that I am innocent. I am innocent. I am innocent, okay? And I'm really, this is hard. It's so hard for me. It's a nightmare. This is a nightmare, okay? What's happened's a nightmare. And Gary was my husband, okay? Gary was my husband, and he was the father of my children. And I am innocent, and I want everybody to know that. This is not a travesty, and it's a nightmare for me, okay? And I don't understand how this can even happen, right? But I want you all to know that I am innocent.
His life was taken as the result of greed, hate, and malice.
She doesn't have remorse because she didn't do this. And it's not just a tragedy for my client. It's not just a tragedy for Ronald Young. It's not just a tragedy for the people that care about them. It's a tragedy for the victims in this case because the real perpetrators aren't going to be brought to justice.
My family and I would just like to say that we're glad this is finally over, and we'd like to thank all our friends and everyone who supported us through this entire time. And we're sorry that it had to come to this because this woman was actually part of our family.
What did Pamela say to you immediately after the sentence came down?
She basically said, I think, if I remember right, how can this be happening? The fact that she's going to prison is going to eat away at me the rest of my life and my career. And that's going to, I'll just have to deal with that myself. But I can't imagine what Pam's going through.
I'm not surprised that she said something. I'm just surprised that she decided to speak to us.
Next, we have a woman named Miss Aguilera. She was in court for driving drunk, but her Karen-like tendencies came through during her hearing. Here's how the judge reacted to her behavior.
She basically threw away this deal herself.
These people have been sitting here in this courtroom for hours. Act like a grown-up.
Ms. Aguilera does not have to accept this plea.
No,
I am not interested in negotiating with a person that wants to do what she's doing.
No, I'm not taking a plea on this case. I'm sorry.
My name is not Linda, and do not address me now,
Miss
please.
Ward,
No.
I would never have advised her. I'm not a doctor. I'm a criminal defense attorney. That's not my job. Unfortunately, today was a disaster. She's a mess, and there's no excuse for this behavior.
And Javi Perez, by the way, he was in court. He left, understandably, shocked. The only reason this defendant even had this plea deal in the first place is because Javi Perez wanted to show compassion.
Next up, we have a woman who refuses to leave the courtroom.
Not true.
Well, I'm telling you that you're not entitled to any money.
But you haven't heard my story or seen the evidence.
What I'm telling you, madam, is the following. You have no lease to his apartment.
We had a verbal contract.
No, you had no lease to his apartment, and you accepted in satisfaction of having no lease $1,000, which is what you gave him, and you cashed it. And he's not responsible for your having to find another apartment, which cost you more money. You had a responsibility. You're a grown woman, and if you saw an apartment that was a bargain, you hop on it. Say, I want my lease, I want to sign it, I want to give you the money that right now for it, so I know it's mine and I know it's held. That's what you do as a grown-up. You didn't do that. You had the perfect opportunity to get a cashier's check for $5,500 the day before you went there, and you didn't. And you modified the lease before he signed it, so you had no lease. You had no written lease when there was supposed to be a written lease. This wasn't a verbal month-to-month tenancy. This was not a verbal month-to-month tenancy.
No, it was not.
Right.
It was a 12-month lease.
That's a lease for a year or more has to be in writing. And I'm telling you, you did not have a written lease with him, and you failed to fulfill the terms of the lease by not bringing a sufficient amount of money with you. Your case is dismissed.
No, ma'am.
We are done.
No.
Court is adjourned.
We are humor me
done.
to hear the story, please.
We are done.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, yeah,
no.
you are.
Well, then there's a breach of contract, right? Because you told me you were going to hear the case.
I heard my
You did not hear.
I
No.
I won't go. No.
The case is over.
I'm not going.
The case is over.
Actually, I never got to speak. I'm not going.
Would you have felt any different about the plaintiff being a hustler if she had not cashed that $1,000 check that he had refunded her for what she had paid towards her deposit?
I would still have thought that she was a hustler. He agreed because of a friendship with a mutual friend to rent this woman an apartment for less than its going rate.
Yeah.
And he held it for a month.
For no money.
Really for no money. She got the lease. She made an alteration on the lease. She never sent it back. She never acknowledged that she had it. The day before she left Arizona, she went to the bank knowing that she owes him $5,500. And she took out a check for $5,000.
Weird.
And paid for a check for $5,000. You know, I've been in this business and heard these landlord and tenant things long enough to know once she moved her things into that apartment, that $500 security deposit,
gone.
He was never going to see. He might have hounded her for it for a couple of months, and then he would have said, all right, forget about it. And she knew that. She knew that. That's what makes her a hustler. That check for $5,000, that cashier's check, instead of $5,500, says to me, hustler.
This individual sought to take advantage of the diligent father. After careful deliberation, the judge announced his decision and communicated it to both parties involved.
From Keystone to the state?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
Call your next witness.
I have no further witnesses.
The state rest?
Yes.
Your motion's denied.
Mr. Birch, Ms. Carpenter, I've just denied the state's motion to adjust the child support in this case. They have to put on evidence to show me that there's some kind of change in income, and I heard nothing that leads me to believe that there's been a change. So the state not meeting its burden is therefore the motion is denied. If any party is satisfied, no, that's okay. I don't need to hear anything. If
I'm not understanding what's denied, sir. The new order or the old order?
I'm denying the state's, there's no new order, Mr. Birch.
Yes, sir.
You and Ms. Carpenter and the state were not able to come to an agreement. And so
Yes, sir.
a lawsuit was filed before me to see if the support needs to be adjusted. The laws in this state are very simple. The state or whoever it is that's moving, asking me to adjust the support has to prove what your old income was, where it came from, and the circumstances behind it, and then compare it to the new information that you have. And I find that the state has completely and utterly failed to do that. They haven't proven anything to me. They've thrown out some stuff, but nothing with any concrete or significant basis. And therefore I'm denying the motion because they haven't met their burden of proof. They haven't proven to me that there's been any kind of a change. So any party has the right to appeal my decision. Your appeal must be filed with the Orange County District Clerk's office. It has to be filed in the next 3 business days. And you have to make sure that you specify in your appeal what part of my ruling you disagree with. And you're also responsible for making sure that a copy of that written appeal is sent. Let me finish, Mr. Birch. And you're also responsible for sending a copy of that written appeal to all the other non-appealing parties. All right. Now, Mr. Birch, what were you going to say?
If her medical is obviously cheaper than what I'm providing at $631 per kid, and she's at $291 per kid, is there a way that instead of me paying Blue Cross Blue Shield the $631, that I could pay her the $291 for the medical?
If y'all can sit down with the AG's office and come up with another agreement, you have my permission to do so, but I'm denying this motion. So y'all have to start over in regards to that issue, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? And that's a very good question, Mr. Birch, and I hope that you and Ms. Carpenter are able to sit down and get that hammered out to make sure that we've got good medical insurance and good for the both of you. So it's good for you financially as well as from your situation that you're in regard to the 2 children, okay? Ms. Carpenter, do you have any questions?
No, I mean, the priority was the medical.
All right.
I mean, that was my...
Next, we have a woman being held on a bench warrant for missing her child support payments.
All right, we're on the record. Ms. Heaven, you want to call the cases?
Case 2013-052214, Consuelo Kemper versus Christopher Kalida and the department. This is an arrears only case. She's ordered to pay $50 a month. She currently owes the state $1,575.90. Fees $524, total owing $2,099.90. There are prior contempts. This is a fail to comply issued February 9th, 2023, 45 days or a $500 cash bond. She was brought here from Mecosta County Jail on May 5th, 2023. And we also have case 2018-055942, agency placed foster care versus Consuelo Kemper. And this is also a $50 a month ordered on arrears. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have. Bear with me just a second. This is, she owes $570.49 to the state, $399.50 in fees, totaling $969.99 on that case. Last payment for both was in May of 2019. And for some reason, my thing did not print right for the 2018 case. I'm sorry. 2013, we received $196.33 in May of 2019, $114.53 in April of 2019, and $11.10 in 2018.
He's not going to be able to pay any of it because he had to pay to get me a ride back there. I can pay you guys $150 within a week. And that is within a week. And
so, ma'am, your bond is $1,000 total, $500 between two cases, and you haven't made a payment in 4 years.
I'm saying I can pay you guys $150 towards my fees in a week, and then make an average $200 a month to you guys every single month.
Where have you been working the last 4 years?
I haven't been working because I've had issues with my health. I've had issues with my family members getting sick. Like I said, my mom just passed away in September of last year. We just buried her yesterday and I had to miss it.
Well, that's unfortunate, but it's your own doing. You have a child support order to pay on arrears and you've not paid it. It's not like you haven't paid it in 4 months. We're talking 4 years. You can't tell me that in the last 4 years.
I understand that. I completely understand that.
To make one payment. You haven't paid anything.
I am, like I said, my job's lined up. It's just waiting for me to get there. It's a year-round job. It's not like the carnival's there and then they're gone and then it's done. It's a year-round job. I can travel with the carnival.
Okay.
And I will make sure the payments are made.
Well, why haven't you made an effort
job, just so you know.
Why haven't you made an effort to find a job though in the last 4 years to be able to make payments?
I've been homeless. I've been in and out of jail in Battle Creek.
For what?
There was a retail fraud for one of them, but I'm done with all that. Like she was saying, this has been in the lien since February. I just now found out about this yesterday, or not yesterday, today.
Another Karen has come to court seeking child support, but has failed to uphold her end of the agreement. Consequently, the judge has a few words to say on the matter.
James, he just turned 8, and he started school, and already he started having school issues in school. He's been getting into fights with other kids. He's been arguing with the teachers. He's not been doing his homework, and this is completely new behavior. He was an A and a B student, and now his grades are also dropping. And I think it has to do with what Bubba here is doing at home.
Okay. Well, what is Bubba doing at home?
So he's a truck driver, And during our marriage, there were a lot of issues with that. A lot of, strange women, just a lot of alcohol use. And I think that that hasn't stopped. And now I think that that's affecting Caleb.
I don't think so. Excuse me, sir. Once it is your turn, I will come to you. That's the first thing. Second thing, those loud outbursts, they will not be tolerated. Continue.
Thank you. So during the marriage, there were a lot of issues with infidelity, with drug use, with alcohol use, and he's still doing the same job. He's still driving the same routes. And so I think he's still bringing these same people into life, into his home with our son.
Oh my gosh, okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted me to know before I move over to him?
I don't know.
Okay. Can I call you Bubba?
Sure.
Bubba, is what she's saying true? You cheated on her, you're using drugs, you're drinking alcohol, you're doing all of this while you're transporting things in an 18-wheeler?
No. I actually work 1 week on, 1 week off.
Okay.
So we have shared custody. So
all right.
the week that I work, she has custody of Caleb.
Okay.
The week I have off, I have custody of Caleb.
All right.
Now, some of the things she's saying, yes, I do drink sometimes,
Are you drinking while you're driving that 18-wheeler?
I do not drink while I drive, no.
All right.
I drink occasionally when I'm home. It's not too bad, but with...
Well, where would she be getting that from?
Well, I have a lot of female clients that I do transport for. So she thinks that I'm, getting these jobs because I'm sleeping around, which she's very promiscuous herself, so...
Oh.
Yes. Caleb has told me that she has brought in a lot of men around him, and he doesn't know who they are.
Okay. So Caleb is just seeing a lot from the both of you, sounds like.
Maybe not.
Okay. And Caleb, he's 8. Who pays health insurance for Caleb?
I do.
All right. How much do you pay?
$75 a month.
Okay. And Miss Katrina, you're looking for him to pay child support?
I am.
Based on what?
So when COVID hit, I lost my job, and I just haven't been able to find a comparable job to that. And I was doing engineering.
And you can't find anything comparable during COVID?
No.
In engineering?
No. So my degree was in chemical engineering.
Okay.
But all the jobs I've been finding have been mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. I haven't found something that's comparable to what I've been doing.
Okay. I don't know much about engineering, but how much more different is it?
I think it's pretty different.
You think, but how different is it?
I don't know, because I haven't done mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, so I don't have a basis to compare the two.
What do you think about that?
I just think she's lazy.
Oh, well, you said it.
Because with her, she has a degree in engineering. Chemical engineering.
Wait a minute, stop right there. You have a degree in engineering.
Yes, that's how I got my job in chemical engineering.
Right. So you can't do a general engineering job with that degree?
It's not comparable to what I was doing.
That wasn't my question. Have you looked for jobs that will pay you for general engineering?
Yes.
All right. How many interviews have you gone on?
3 or 4 in the last 6 months.
3 or 4 in the last 6 months, and they all said no to hiring you?
Yes.
That's interesting. I saw you signal over here. You said 0?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know, sir, that she hasn't gone on any of these job interviews?
I have a friend that she knows, and he's told me.
Oh.
Because he's been sleeping with her.
Oh, okay. Well, that's none of my business. Has nothing to do with me. Miss Katrina, I haven't heard a single reason why I should place this man on child support. He testified and said that he works 1 week on, 1 week off. He has Caleb during his week off. He pays health insurance. You have Caleb, I'm assuming, well, not an assumption, what he said, that when he's on, you have Caleb. I'm assuming all of that's the truth, right?
Yeah, we do have that 1 week on, 1 week off, but with these behaviors that Caleb's having, it's just, he needs treatment, he needs help, he needs counseling, he needs something to help.
And I don't disagree with you there. I do believe that if he is having behavioral issues and everything like that, maybe seek some type of therapy, play therapy maybe, individual counseling, maybe you all could do family counseling, but that is not a legitimate reason to place this man on child support. So I'm going to deny your request today to place him on child support. And in addition to denying that request, that $75 that he's paying, I'm going to have you split it. Since you share custody, you need to share costs too. So $37.50 is what you will be reimbursing him for health insurance every month.
And March 9th, 1997, 2 people died. Suge Knight in Los Angeles was so focused on his rap music that he didn't foresee the serious consequences of his actions. Before behaving recklessly in public, it's wise to remember that modern technology can record everything, preserving evidence of your mistakes. The fear of punishment can grip the mind so tightly during a crime that one's expression becomes terrifying, as if frozen like a statue.
Come here and laughingly go, we'll make it $25 million. I don't know how many people in here, maybe Judge Fiddler has that much money, but we don't, Judge. $25 million. $25 million.
Even if unwelcome, the criminal's words must be heard in court, for justice spares no one.
I'm trying to be a lawyer, but I got paperwork to indicate a lot of stuff that haven't been done even since a year ago. And then last time, one time we was here before, and I was trying to do the subpoena for the check, and you said I was allowed to. And when you told me that, it's been 7 months.
Are you getting this, Mr. Wilson?
Yes, I am, but I mean, sometime I can't get through his. Only person I'm able to call is him, and sometimes his office don't take my calls. And I have other counsels that I'm trying to deal with. I don't know where he's at today, but David Kenner and Fletcher. And Matt Fletcher back there also, Your Honor. And I'm doing all the right procedures as you said. I respect you and I respect your court. So I listen to you, and I tell everybody to go through Judge Ryan. They go to Judge Ryan, they still don't get approved. And how could I can't have one attorney for trial. I'm not trying to miss my trial date. I don't want to slow my trial date down. I know I can't, I don't want to. And I would just like to be able to talk to counsel so I can be prepared, and everything I'm doing, I got some paperwork right here. You know,
the only thing that I said, you know, my hands are tied on this one. The only thing it says, you can have Mr. Fletcher, you can have Mr. Canner go to see Judge Ryan.
They have done that, sir.
There's nothing I can do about it.
I know, but if you keep turning them down, that allow me to see them, and the stuff's not like subpoenas, like stuff's not getting done with the chick. I have some paperwork out here. I'm not trying to be an attorney, but if you read it, it's stuff that's dated.
I can't read it. It's not my business. Give it to Mr. Wesson and let him read it.
It was made out to him a year ago, and you never answered them. It was very important.
I'm really apologetic to you, sir, if we have other answers.
I understand that. I appreciate you giving me some
right
time.
Now, I'm, you know, Mr. Wesson is your attorney. I had almost trusted him.
I do, but you told me I was allowed to have more than one attorney, as long as I have one primary attorney. And now, as we speak,
you can have as many attorneys as you want.
But they're not allowing them to see me or allowing me to communicate with them or talk to them.
That's between your counsel and the counsel you want to hire and Judge Ryan.
Prison can be a catalyst for change for some criminals. You'll see this as you witness the moments before today's offender heads to jail.
What up, Shug? What up, Shug? How you doing, man? Hey, Puerto Rico. Hey, go in there and get over here. You good? Oh, what's up? Yeah, you lost some weight, huh? Yeah. Yo, Shug, what was the fight about, man? Can you say anything about the allegations against you? story, sure, you know? Can you apply anything you need?
Get out, I can always smoke it.
Good luck on this, Shug.
I think.
The judge listens to everyone, especially the victim's family, to ensure the sentence fits the crime.
Here for disposition on one matter, sentencing on another matter. We'll start with the TA case. Matters here for sentencing. I've read and considered the transcript of plea, the report of the probation officer. Let me inquire, Mr. LeBlanc, first of all, is there any legal cause why judgment should not now be pronounced?
No, Your Honor.
You waive arraignment for judgment?
Yes.
I will hear from you.
I will submit it pursuant to the negotiated settlement.
Okay, I understand, and talking, before I hear from the people, and talking with all counsel, it's agreed that any restitution will be determined at a hearing to be held at a future date. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes, Your Honor. He'll waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Knight?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you wish to give up and waive your right to be at the present at the restitution hearing? Yes?
Yeah.
Very well.
Your actions after you callously my dad in cold blood were calculating and deplorable and reflective of a lack of moral character and no respect for human lives. Those of a low-life thug, career-minded criminal, three-striker with a reputation of being a... What I do know is that your unrepentant, remorseful, callous, unashamed actions took my dad's life away. My dad's last moments of life were blasted all over TV, the internet, social media. He is truly a disgusting, selfless disgrace to human decency.
For the crime which the defendant has been convicted in count 1, a violation of Penal Code Section 192, subdivision A, voluntary manslaughter with the strike prior conviction having been found true, defendant is sentenced to state prison for the high term. The reason for the high term is as a condition of the plea bargain. The high term is 11 years and must be doubled under the strike law. Defendant is levied a term in state prison of 22 years. Pursuant to Penal Code Section 12022, subdivision B, subdivision 1, he is levied an additional and consecutive 1 year in state prison. Pursuant to Penal Code Section 667, subdivision A, subdivision 1, the prior conviction the defendant has admitted, he is levied an additional 5 years in state prison for a total unstayed term of 28 years. This time, defendant is ordered transferred to Department 120 to have a dismissal on the other matter, which is part of this plea bargain. If there's nothing further, that'll be it. Thank you, Your Honor.
This mother goes to court to sue her ex-partner, but ends up having to pay child support instead.
This case before the court, what's going on?
I'm trying to get my baby back.
Okay.
I have 2 babies.
Okay.
And I just had another baby with my boy. He's not my boyfriend anymore, but he hit my first baby. So Houston got to take him, and I want him back because I'm not with that boyfriend anymore.
So Houston took the baby, or you lost the baby?
Either way, Houston has the baby and I want it back.
No, it's not either way. It's you lost the baby. So did somebody intervene and take the baby away from you? And
Yes,
give the baby?
ma'am. They took the baby and gave him to Houston.
Okay.
And I want him back.
Okay. And you have a new baby with your ex-boyfriend?
Not ex-boyfriend, ex-boyfriend.
So you guys are no longer together?
Correct, ma'am.
How old is this new baby?
How old's the new baby?
Yes.
Like 8 months.
And you're done with him after 8 months?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was done with him like 10 months ago. The baby's 8 months.
Oh, okay. So before the baby was born?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he come to the birth of the child?
No, I didn't want him around.
Oh, okay. All right. So you now want to get custody back from him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
From Houston.
Who does the baby live with?
Me.
The baby? No, my baby lives with me.
No, not your child. How many children do you all have between you?
Just one.
Just one. And the child lives with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And you want the baby back?
Yes, ma'am.
How long has the baby lived with you?
The baby has been living the whole time.
Oh, okay. And how old is this child?
5.
5. Oh. And you expect to get child support?
Yes, ma'am.
And the child has been living with him for almost, it's a boy or girl?
Boy.
His whole life?
Yes, ma'am. Well, when I get my baby back, I want child support, yeah. He makes way more money than I do. I want my baby back and I want child support.
I'm sorry, you have to excuse me because nothing you're saying is making sense right now. You came to court to ask me to give a child back to you that was taken from you, that's 5 years old, that's pretty much lived with this man the entire time that he has been taken care of.
They took my baby away because my ex-boyfriend is an abuser and I'm not with him anymore, so I want my baby back.
Right, but the child hasn't been living with you. The child has been living with him.
Yeah, because of my ex, and I'm not with my ex anymore.
Yeah, so no, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. He would literally have to have given you the child back. And then you come in here, after you've been having the child for some time, then you come in here and say, Judge, I want this to be changed. I've been having the child this entire time. I want him to pay child support. That would be a little bit more reasonable. But what you're asking for today is very unreasonable.
Okay, well, give me my baby back, and then I'll come back in a while and ask for child support.
Well, I can't give you your baby back because I never took your baby. Okay? Actually, nobody really took your baby. You lost your baby for your own negligence with your ex-boyfriend. That has nothing to do with me. Okay? Now, fill me in over here. The baby was placed with you after the boyfriend the baby.
Yep.
And he's been living with you ever since then.
Yep.
You've been taking care of him.
Mm-hmm.
You pay for everything for the child.
Everything.
What does she do?
I visit.
She visits unsupervised.
Okay, congratulations. Financially, what does she do?
Financially?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, that's what I figured. Okay, I see what's going on here. Yeah, and I'm not about to play this game with you. You're the one that's going to pay him child support today.
What?
Yeah, you are.
He makes like 3 times as much money as I do. I have to give him my money?
It's for the child, so yes, you do. You do. But the good thing is, it's based on your income. You'll get credit for the other child that your 8-month-old, you'll get credit for that child. But yes, you are going to pay him child support. That's just the right thing to do. It's one child between the two of you, okay? And health insurance, I'm assuming you pay it.
Yes.
How much is it?
$66 a month.
$66.
I get it through my employer, so.
Huh?
I get it through my employer.
Okay, gotcha. And how much do you make a year?
$38,000.
$38,000. So I have your gross coming out to $3,200. That brings your net to $2,648.01, giving you credit for the other child that you have. Your child support obligation comes out to $423.69, plus the $66 you're going to reimburse him for health insurance every month. So 66 added to $463.69 is $489.69.
$489.69?
Did you need me to repeat it?
I'm asking you, $489. I have to give him almost $500 a month?
Yeah, that's how it works. Did you really think that I was going to have him pay you child support?
No, I just wanted my baby.
Oh, okay. So your first answer was no. So then you understand exactly why you have to pay child support. Is there anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Nope.
Okay. You all are dismissed.
On February 20th, 2016, in Syracuse, Ryan Lawrence took his son Maddox out, but Maddox never came back home. Now, Ryan is back in court. She trusted him once and never imagined he would harm their child. Now, she waits anxiously, her heart aching for her child's return.
Please just bring Maddox home. Maddox, I love you, honey. Ryan, please call. We just want to know that the both of you are safe. The whole family loves you. The whole family wants you both home. And we just want to know that you guys are in a good place. And we'd love to see you both as soon as possible.
Thank you. Give me 1 second. I'll take some questions if you have them. Anyone have any questions?
Without any vehicle involved, and like you said, there's one car and that's been accounted for. Without a vehicle, where does the lead stand at this point to really have an active search?
We don't know. We're looking at any lead that we do get, and that's where we're stuck right now. We're begging for help in this circumstance. We don't know where he is. If he is out there, we ask you just give us a call so we know that you guys are safe, and we'll get help, whatever help everybody.
Tears can't erase sins, and some crimes have no excuse. No father should ever be so helpless that he harms his own child.
Is tormenting. So, I mean, I can't close my eyes. I can't sleep. Just having to live this life that I've created for myself is hell. Hell exists. It's real. I know that. And I've created it for myself. You don't have to.
I want to jump back to that day that it happened. You're in the woods with her. Do you speak to her before it happens? Do you tell her goodbye? What goes on between you two before?
Yeah, I told her goodbye.
What did you say?
I told her, Max, we're going on another trip. I'm gonna see you soon. Daddy's just got something to take care of real quick. I told her I loved her and that she was the best baby in the whole world.
Were you crying?
Yeah, I was crying.
Did she say anything or do anything?
I don't really want to talk about this.
So you were thinking about down the road covering up what you've done to keep from being prosecuted.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people would hear that and say, well, you were just trying to get away with it and never have to pay for your crime. What do you say to those people?
I'd say that's ridiculous. I pay for it every day, even if I wasn't out. I still wake up. I still wake up hearing her voice. I still, every time I close my eyes, I see her and what I've done. I have to live every day without her.
In that moment, before you did this, did you again hear from your mother or God telling you to bring her here? I mean, did that come back, or was that just the week before that came up?
Yeah, I mean, I heard my mom. I heard what I thought was my mom that day.
Saying what?
Just saying, let me take care of her.
Okay.
Give her to me. And then I said, no, like, I want to take care of her. Like, this is my job. But then some other voice said, you're selfish for keeping Max here. While you're suffering, while Morgan's suffering, like, Max doesn't deserve this.
Whose voice was that?
I don't know. I'm not this monster that people try to portray me to be on the media. What I did was horrible. What I did was wrong. What I did was unfair. What I did was illegal. Yeah. And evil, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Who was it?
It was this storm. It was this madness that was taking over.
You could just be evil. Does that come through your mind that this is?
I don't think so, because what I was trying to do was not evil. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I was trying to save Max. I was trying to save my wife. I was trying to save my family from hurting, from struggling.
The crime committed by today's defendant is hard for both the court and his community to believe.
Good morning, Mr. Good morning. And if you would speak up so everyone can hear you. Brian, as I sat down to write this statement, I had to choose my words carefully. Because these are the last words I'm going to speak to you. I thought I was going to tell you that the brother I once knew is, and what's left is a stranger. However, I know that is not true, and deep down, it's not what I actually believe. You are a stranger, and you are, but you are also my brother. You didn't turn into someone else, you weren't possessed, and you weren't acting against your will. You are my brother, and you are 100% responsible for your own actions. As it turns out, the brother I thought you were never actually existed. Beyond your facade, and you had me fooled. You only truly opened up to me twice in our lives. I don't know if you remember. Once before Mannix was born, you called me from a dinner party. You were hiding in the bushes, like the coward you proved yourself to be. All because you were too scared and weak to face your responsibilities. At the time, I thought you could be brave and a supportive father. So I encouraged you to be that person. I told you that bravery is the act of doing the right thing, even when you're afraid to do it. I wanted you to pick yourself up and take responsibility for yourself and your family's future. The only other time you opened up to me was long before the first, during our trip to Aguilera to honor Mom. You broke down and told me the only reason you hadn't run away since Mom was because no one in the family had given you a reason to. You said we were too good to you. I now realize how right you were. We never did anything but encourage you in whatever plan for your future you came up with, no matter how ridiculous it was. And you had a lot of them. This happened far too often. I encouraged you because I wanted you to pick a direction and stick with it. I didn't want you to drift around from false goal to false goal and never find happiness. When you called me to tell me Morgan was pregnant, I was so proud of you for choosing to stay in the picture. I felt that Morgan and Maddox were the future that you were looking for. I was wrong. I didn't know what was going on behind the curtain. I speak to you now as the father of a little girl. If the love of your child doesn't provide a bright enough future for you, nothing ever will. Maddox loved you. She trusted you. And she followed you into those woods. She was punished because of your weakness. You were never a father. That title is reserved for protectors and selfless men. You are neither. You will not hear words of encouragement from me. Not anymore. You, my brother, will live the rest of your life knowing that you are your best shot at true happiness.
The human mind is often hard to understand. People may not know why they do certain things or feel guilty afterward, sometimes leading to the loss of innocent lives.
It's incredibly hard to talk about this for many reasons, and even harder to find the words to explain such a horrible crime. It's with all of my heart that I convey my sincerest apology to everyone for taking Maddox from her family and everyone who loved her. I'm also utterly sorry for denying Maddox her chance at life. I can't expect your forgiveness, but I tell you now that the sorrow I feel for what I've done is complete and comes from the deepest depths of my being. This sorrow I feel has nothing to do with being in jail, but for the pain, for the loss of Maddox. I miss her so bad. Max is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'd say that to her all the time, and to anyone else who'd listen. It was amazing to have her everywhere I went, including all the times I brought her to work with me. When our baby was diagnosed with cancer, we were in shock, but hopeful that the doctors in New York City would cure her, as indeed they did. Even after enduring countless overnight trips to the hospital and fruitless attempts at soothing a baby who couldn't possibly understand why she couldn't eat for hours before invasive treatment procedures, the threat of her cancer returning was very real. Our work schedules were arranged so that one of us was always busy, but there was very little time for the three of us together, nor enough money for a sitter or much of anything else. Still, we treated her and fed her better than we did ourselves, and loved her far more than anything else we've ever known. In no way can I justify my actions, and there is no one to blame but myself. There is no good explanation for such a horrendous crime, and regret is too simple a term to describe what I feel. What I can say is I've never felt such strong emotions towards anything in my life than my ever-growing and unconditional love for Maddox, and now I'm completely distraught by overwhelming grief and anguish for what I've done. I was never jealous of my daughter. Both our families know I love Maddox. If anything, I only wanted more for her. Max was always at the top of my list, and is constantly, to this day, the focal point of my thoughts and actions since she first came into my life. I'll never overcome this feeling of loss, but I will spend the rest of my life trying to figure out how I got to such a dark, irrational state. She was my life's purpose, and making her happy was my job. Such strong feelings of love, however, brought equally strong feelings of fear and uncertainty when it came to my responsibility for her happiness. Although I blame no one else for my acts, as the pressures to give her the perfect life built up, I also struggled against relentless waves of negative emotions every day, bearing witness to the pain and sadness in many of my wife and daughter's interactions. Yet no reason and no psychological diagnosis seemed plausible to me to have made me commit this act against my very nature, taking the one thing I love most. This Easter, my father, weeping, asked me what I was thinking. In despair, I gave him the only answer I could. I don't know. Although these pressures led me to this unthinkable act, I cannot now make sense of what I did. There's no valid reason for why our daughter Maddox had died. Not a second goes by when I don't wish I could take back what I did, and that Maddox would still be alive. I pray all the time that she's in a better place and that God and my mother are watching over her. To Morgan and all of those who loved her, I hope that from my plea and acceptance of responsibility, you can find at least some measure of closure from the pain I inflicted. This was, and is, without question, the worst act I will ever commit. I recognize that no one but myself can be blamed for this atrocity, and I will always be traumatized knowing I'm responsible for such incomprehensible actions. Although I accept this punishment, nothing can be worse. Nothing can be worse than my own despair at the loss of Maddox, and I regret that I'm not alone in that feeling. I love my daughter with all my heart. The only thing that can match my love and loss of her now is the dreadful pain and remorse I feel for committing such a terribly terrible crime. I'm sorry. I know I can never be sorry enough.
When delivering sentences for certain crimes, the judge's heart is heavy. They give strong judgments to discourage future offenders.
These will probably be one of the last remarks that I will make as a judge in a case like this. That quote goes like this: a wife who loses a husband is called a widow. A husband who loses a wife is called a widower. And a child who loses his parent is called an orphan. You know, Mr. Lawrence, there is no term. There is no term for a parent who loses a child. That's how awful it is. I say it to you. I say this to you in order to describe to everyone, in some small way, the scope and breadth and devastating result of your callous and selfish and horrific acts in taking Maddox's life. You had no right. You had no right to decide when she should die. But what you did not do that day could not be. And what you did not kill was the love in the hearts of so many relatives and friends. That love in their hearts will live forever. Maddox Lawrence, baby Maddox, as she has been commonly referred to, became what I call a hero in this community. The pain and suffering you caused transcends the tragedy of Maddox and has truly touched the hearts and minds and the very soul of so many people in this community. This community has truly felt a personal sense of loss by her. I cannot describe that loss in words. You didn't know her, but you felt that you did. Mr. Lawrence, based upon the totality of the facts and circumstances of this case, it's my opinion you deserve to spend the rest of your life in prison for what you have done. While I may not be around in 25 years from now, and if I am, I will be asked for my opinion, and I will give it in terms of your parole. However, if I'm not, my words are in this record, and my expressed opinions regarding your punishment will live on. It is the sentence and judgment of this court that, based upon your plea of guilty to murder in the first degree, as charged in the first count of this indictment, that you be sentenced to the maximum sentence of life imprisonment with a minimum of 25 years. Relative to your plea of guilty to murder in the second degree, as charged in the third count of this indictment, it is the sentence and judgment of this court to receive the maximum sentence of life imprisonment with a minimum of 25 years. By law, these sentences must run concurrently with each other. Surcharge?
$325 mandatory surcharge and a $50 DNA fee.
Very good. And for the record, I want to thank
Mr. Fitzpatrick, Mr. Kelly. And I've said this before about the both of you, but it deserves repeating. Both of you have lived up to the highest standards that I can expect from prosecutors in this community.
Big thanks to our viewers for joining the courtroom journey with us. Your interest in the stories of justice is what keeps our channel alive.